Those who guard the ancient secrets are the same who bear the burden of knowledge that was never meant to be revealed to mankind. Gershom Scholem, scholar of Jewish mysticism. Imagine a text so powerful that it was deliberately removed from the sacred scriptures, a manuscript unveiling secrets about the origins of humanity's evils, about celestial beings who abandoned their divine posts for desire and ambition. This isn't the plot of a modern novel, but rather the content of one of the most enigmatic and unsettling documents ever written, the Book of the Watchers. Buried deep within the Book of Enoch, this ancient text recounts cataclysmic events said to have occurred before the Great Flood, when 200 angels, known as the Watchers, descended from the heavens onto Mount Hermon and swore among themselves to share forbidden knowledge with humanity. Yet what makes this text so extraordinary is not just its tale of fallen angels, but the profound implications it holds about the nature of forbidden knowledge and those destined to guard it. The Book of the Watchers is not merely a mythological account. It is a warning, a map, and for some, a calling. Across the centuries, certain individuals have felt an inexplicable connection to these narratives, as if the words spoke directly to their souls. Could these be the modern chosen ones? Those destined to understand secrets that most of humanity is not yet prepared to know? The story begins with Enoch, seventh patriarch after Adam, a man who walked with God and was taken up to the heavens without tasting death. During his celestial journey, Enoch received extraordinary revelations about creation, angels, and the fate of humankind. What makes his testimony unique is that he was not an ordinary prophet, but a mediator between two worlds, someone marked from birth to receive knowledge forbidden to ordinary mortals. The Watchers, these rebellious angels, were led by Semjaza and Azazel. Not only did they join with human women, giving birth to the Nephilim, hybrid giants who ravaged the earth, but they also passed down celestial knowledge that, according to the text, should never have been revealed. Metallurgy, weapon-making, cosmetics, sorcery, astrology, and the secrets of herbs. This knowledge, considered premature for humanity, disrupted the natural order and unleashed chaos. What few realize is that the Book of the Watchers does more than recount past events. It establishes a pattern that repeats cyclically in human history. In every era, individuals arise who, like Enoch, possess a special sensitivity to perceive realities beyond the material veil. These chosen ones often report similar experiences, prophetic dreams since childhood, an uncommon ability to grasp abstract concepts, a constant feeling of not belonging to the ordinary world, and, most significantly, an inner calling to seek knowledge that transcends the mundane. Have you ever felt you carry knowledge you never formally learned? Had insights that seem to come from beyond your own mind? These may be manifestations of what ancient texts describe as signs of a chosen one. The Dead Sea Scrolls, discovered at Qumran, brought to light fragments of the Book of Enoch long thought lost. Preserved by the Essene community, these texts reveal further details about the Watchers and their pact. Fascinatingly, the Essenes believed themselves to be guardians of sacred knowledge, chosen to preserve ancient truths until the right time for their revelation. They identified certain members of their community through specific signs, birthmarks in significant places, the ability to interpret dreams, and a natural affinity with the elements of nature. But what does it truly mean to be chosen in the context of the Book of the Watchers? Is it a blessing or a curse to carry this ancestral legacy? Ancient Enochian traditions suggest that the true chosen are not those who seek power or glory, but those, like Enoch, who are called to bear witness, to see beyond the veil and shoulder the weight of this knowledge with responsibility and discernment. The signs of the chosen, according to these texts, go far beyond paranormal abilities or mystical experiences. They manifest in expanded awareness, intuitive understanding of the forces shaping the universe, and, above all, a deep sense of purpose that transcends personal ambitions. As we delve deeper into the secrets of the Book of the Watchers, a question emerges from the shadows of time. What if forbidden knowledge was never truly forbidden, but only reserved for those capable of understanding it in its fullness? The Book of the Watchers is not merely an ancient writing, but a gateway to dimensions of understanding that challenge our conventional perceptions of reality. As we delve more deeply into its pages, we discover not only mythical stories, but codes and symbols that seem to activate something within those predisposed to receive them. The fall of the Watchers is described in vivid and disturbing terms. These celestial beings, drawn by the beauty of human women, descended to earth and took wives from among the daughters of men. But the text suggests this was not simply the violation of forbidden boundaries. It was a deliberate transfer of cosmic knowledge to the human realm, a forced acceleration of the evolution of consciousness for which humanity was not yet ready. Azazel, one of the leaders of the Watchers, is described as the one who taught men the forging of swords, knives, shields, and armor. He revealed the earth's metals and the art of crafting them, as well as bracelets, ornaments, the use of antimony, beautification of the eyelids, precious stones, and dyes. Semjaza taught enchantments and the cutting of roots. Armaros taught how to break spells. Barakayal taught astrology. Kokabel, the constellations. Ezekiel, the knowledge of the clouds. Arakiel, the signs of the earth. Shamsiel, the course of the sun. And Sariel, the path of the moon. This knowledge, imparted prematurely, is described as the root of human corruption. Yet there is an alternative interpretation rarely discussed. What if this knowledge was not inherently corrupting, but simply too powerful to be absorbed by an unprepared mind? Like a child given the keys to a vehicle before understanding the responsibilities that come with such power. In this context, the chosen would be those whose consciousness has evolved to the point of receiving fragments of this knowledge without succumbing to their seductive power. They bear distinctive marks in their psyche, an insatiable thirst for knowledge that goes beyond the material, a natural ability to perceive patterns where others see only chaos, and a heightened sensitivity to the invisible currents that connect all beings. A fascinating aspect of the Book of the Watchers is its detailed description of the Nephilim, the hybrid descendants of angels and humans. These beings are portrayed as physical giants who consumed resources in such vast quantities that, when food ran out, they began to devour humans. But beyond their physical size, the texts suggest they possessed extraordinary mental abilities, a direct heritage from their celestial parents. Later mystical traditions, particularly in the Zohar and other Kabbalistic writings, suggest that the essence of the Nephilim was not entirely eradicated by the flood. Instead, aspects of their expanded consciousness were preserved and continue to manifest in certain individuals throughout human history. These individuals often describe sudden awakening experiences, as if ancestral memories were being activated in their consciousness. The signs of a chosen one, according to these esoteric traditions, include recurring dreams of flying or levitation from childhood, a natural affinity for ancient or symbolic languages, the ability to perceive energetic fields around people and objects, and experiences of time dilation during deep meditative states. Most significantly, the chosen frequently describe a sense of remembering rather than learning when introduced to certain esoteric knowledge, as if recalling something already known rather than acquiring something new. The Book of the Watchers also contains enigmatic passages about the heavenly book, shown to Enoch during his journey through the heavens. This book contained not only humanity's past, but also its future, Enoch is instructed to preserve this knowledge for the future generations of the world, specifically for those who would dwell on earth in the last days. This reference raises a provocative question. Are we now living in those last days mentioned? And are contemporary chosen ones being activated to receive this ancestral knowledge? Mystical traditions, Jewish, Christian, and Islamic, agree that certain knowledge is revealed only when humanity is ready to receive it. The emergence of ancient manuscripts at critical moments in human history, like the Nag Hammadi texts in 1945 or the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1947, seems to follow a deliberate pattern of revelation synchronized with the evolution of collective consciousness. Have you ever felt an inexplicable connection with ancient symbols or texts? Experienced moments of sudden clarity that seem to transcend your acquired knowledge? These may be signs that you carry within yourself fragments of this expanded consciousness, echoes of a knowledge that transcends the limits of linear time. Yet the true nature of the chosen does not manifest in supernatural powers or extraordinary abilities, but in a profound responsibility in relation to knowledge. Like Enoch, who not only received revelations but was charged with preserving and transmitting them with discernment, modern chosen ones feel called to be guardians of wisdom, not for personal gain, but for the gradual and harmonious awakening of collective consciousness. What do the ancient texts say about the ultimate fate of these chosen ones? The answers may be hidden in the deepest layers of the Book of the Watchers itself. Deep within the Book of the Watchers, we find vivid descriptions of Enoch's journey through the celestial realms. These passages are not merely mythical fantasies, but detailed maps of expanded states of consciousness that the chosen may experience. Enoch describes 7 heavens, each corresponding to a different level of perception and cosmic understanding. What makes this account extraordinary is its similarity to experiences reported by mystics from diverse traditions over the millennia. The first heaven Enoch visits contains the storehouses of snow and ice, symbolizing the realm of crystallized material forms. The second heaven is inhabited by imprisoned angels who disobeyed, representing conscious energies that resist universal harmony. The third heaven simultaneously contains both paradise and a place of torment, reflecting the duality inherent in manifested existence. As Enoch ascends to the higher heavens, the descriptions become increasingly abstract and luminous, culminating in the 7th heaven, where he beholds the face of God, a metaphor for union with universal consciousness. Modern chosen ones frequently report the phenomenon that esoteric traditions call cellular remembrance, the experience of accessing memories and knowledge that seem encoded in the body itself, not just the mind. The chosen often describe how certain postures, movements, or breathing practices spontaneously trigger states of expanded awareness and access to insights that transcend their formal learning. This embodied dimension of ancestral wisdom is reflected in the Book of the Watchers through enigmatic references to how the Watchers changed their nature when they descended to Earth, suggesting that physical incarnation is not merely a limitation to be overcome, but a vehicle for a specific realization that cannot be achieved in purely spiritual states. Modern chosen ones often rediscover this truth through direct experience, recognizing that the body is not an obstacle to spiritual realization, but an exquisitely tuned instrument for perceiving and expressing higher frequencies of consciousness. They naturally develop an appreciation for the wisdom inherent in bodily processes and a capacity to listen to the intelligence expressed through subtle physical sensations. One of the most consistent signs of a chosen one is their relationship to what might be called technologies of consciousness, practices, rituals, and tools that facilitate expanded states of perception. The Book of the Watchers contains references to how Enoch was instructed in specific methods of purification, visualization, and invocation that allowed him to access celestial realms while still in human form. Similarly, contemporary chosen ones frequently demonstrate a natural affinity for contemplative practices, sacred movement, or energetic modalities that may take others years to master. They often report that certain practices feel familiar upon first encounter, as if remembering something already known rather than learning anew. This sense of remembrance extends to sacred languages and symbolic systems. The chosen often show an unusual ease with ancient alphabets, sacred musical notations, or complex numerological systems, not through extensive academic study, but through direct resonance with the vibrational patterns encoded within these forms. Some describe experiences of instantly understanding inscriptions in languages they have never formally studied, or recognizing the meaning of esoteric symbols at first glance. Have you ever looked at an ancient symbol and felt you understood its meaning on a level that defies rational explanation? Have you found yourself naturally drawn to certain spiritual practices that seem to awaken deep memories within you? These may be signs that you are accessing layers of ancestral knowledge encoded in your own conscious structure. The Book of the Watchers also contains intriguing passages about certain knowledge being preserved in sealed books that would be opened only in the last days by those capable of comprehending their contents. This metaphor of sealing and unsealing resonates deeply with the chosen one's experience of receiving insights that seem to have been deliberately concealed until the proper conditions for their revelation were present. These conditions are not merely temporal, but qualitative, tied to the development of specific perceptual capacities that allow complex information to be integrated harmoniously. The chosen frequently report that certain insights arrive precisely when they have developed the consciousness necessary to support them, neither before nor after. A particularly significant aspect of the chosen one's journey is the development of what some traditions call unified vision, the capacity to perceive both the diversity of manifest forms and the essential unity beneath them. The Book of the Watchers describes how Enoch was able to contemplate both the face of God and the multiplicity of celestial beings, holding both views simultaneously. This unified vision manifests as an increasing ability to recognize fundamental patterns that repeat across scales and contexts, seeing how the same principles express themselves in physical phenomena, biological processes, social dynamics, and states of consciousness. Chosen ones often report moments of sudden clarity when they perceive these correspondences not as intellectual abstractions, but as directly experienced realities. This perception of underlying unity does not result in a bland sameness that denies differences, but rather in a deeper appreciation of diversity as a necessary expression of the creative possibilities inherent in universal consciousness. The chosen naturally develop an ability to honor diverse traditions and perspectives, understanding that each reveals specific facets of a multidimensional truth that transcends any single expression. One of the most challenging aspects of the chosen's journey is the process that alchemical traditions call the nigredo, or black work, the necessary confrontation with the shadow aspects of both the individual psyche and the collective consciousness. The Book of the Watchers contains vivid narratives about how the fallen Watchers were eventually confined in abysses of darkness, symbolizing the need to acknowledge and integrate energies that have been distorted or misdirected. The chosen often find themselves naturally drawn to work with aspects of human experience that others prefer to avoid: ancestral traumas, patterns of addiction, oppressive power structures, or deep emotional wounds. This is not a morbid fascination with suffering, but an intuitive recognition that true healing and transformation require a willingness to directly face what has been denied or suppressed. This shadow work takes place on both personal and collective levels. On a personal level, the chosen often go through intense periods of psychological and emotional purification, confronting and integrating denied aspects of themselves. On a collective level, many feel called to work with historical and cultural traumas, serving as catalysts for reconciliation and healing processes that transcend apparent divisions. The Book of the Watchers also contains enigmatic references to how certain knowledge was preserved through specific lineages, not necessarily bloodlines, but streams of conscious transmission that kept certain frequencies of perception alive through periods of collective forgetting. The chosen often report experiences of connecting with these currents through dreams, visions, or synchronistic encounters with teachers and traditions that deeply resonate with their essential nature. This connection with wisdom lineages does not create dependency or submission to external authorities, but serves to confirm and clarify understandings that are already emerging internally. The true chosen maintain a delicate balance between honoring ancestral traditions and staying open to new formulations that respond to the specific needs of the present moment. As the chosen advance on their journey, many experience what mystical traditions call the sacred marriage, or conjunctio, a harmonious integration of apparently opposing polarities within their own consciousness. This integration manifests as a growing ability to hold paradox without the need to resolve it prematurely, to honor both intellect and intuition, analysis and synthesis, individuality and interconnectedness. This integration is not a final state, but an ongoing process of harmonization that deepens over time. The chosen recognize that there is no definitive point of arrival on their journey, but rather an infinite unfolding of possibilities for perception and expression. This understanding brings a genuine humility, which is one of the most consistent marks of a true chosen one. Perhaps the most significant aspect of the chosen's experience is the development of what might be called transformative presence, a quality of being that naturally catalyzes positive change in their environment without deliberate effort. The Book of the Watchers describes how the mere presence of Enoch soothed those tormented by troubled spirits and inspired others to seek deeper understanding. Similarly, contemporary chosen ones often notice that their presence has tangible effects on their surroundings and the people around them, not through attempts to influence or control, but simply as a natural result of their state of consciousness. These effects can include the acceleration of healing processes, clarification of confusing situations, or the catalyzing of insights in others. This transformative influence does not create dependency or followers, but inspires others to discover and express their own essential nature. True chosen ones do not seek disciples or admirers, but companions on the path, those awakening to their own unique capacities for perception and service. Have you noticed that your presence seems to have a calming or clarifying effect in tense situations? Have you found that meaningful conversations tend to arise naturally around you, even in casual settings? These may be signs that you are developing this quality of transformative presence, characteristic of the chosen. As we conclude our exploration of the Book of the Watchers and its implications for contemporary chosen ones, a fundamental truth emerges. Being chosen is not a special status that separates someone from the rest of humanity, but a call to act as a catalyst for the awakening of the inherent potential in all beings. The true chosen do not seek to accumulate esoteric knowledge for personal benefit or power over others, but to facilitate the harmonious evolution of collective consciousness. They recognize that the same potentials they actively express exist in latent form within every human being, waiting for the right conditions to bloom. This understanding brings a deep sense of responsibility, not as a burden, but as a natural expression of genuine compassion. The chosen feel an innate commitment to the well-being of all life, knowing that their own fulfillment is intrinsically linked to that of every other being. As we contemplate the mysteries of the Book of the Watchers and the signs of the chosen, perhaps the most important question is not, Am I a chosen one? But how can I best serve the awakening of consciousness in this critical moment of human history? For, in the end, we are all called to awaken to our essential nature and contribute to the great work of transformation that is unfolding in our world. What signs do you recognize in your own experience? Which aspects of this exploration have resonated most deeply with your personal journey? Share your reflections and insights in the comments, for it is through this collective dialogue that new understandings continue to emerge. And if you felt a deep connection with the themes explored in this video, consider sharing it with others who may be awakening to their own nature as chosen ones. For, as the Book of the Watchers reminds us, true knowledge was never meant to remain hidden, but to be revealed at the right time by those with eyes to see and ears to hear.